Next we got Space is Dead by Kyle Hill. Dead Space solves the Fermi paradox. You mean like Dead Space the game? What is the Fermi paradox?
And no, I don't mean all of you humans back there on that increasingly hot blue marble. I mean, where are all the aliens? In
another galaxy
this vast, surely there must be other forms of life that are as depressed to be meat as we are, right? Well, if one of my favorite sci-fi video games is correct,
so it is about a game.
Aliens are indeed out there. We're just never gonna meet them because, well, they're already dead. Ooh.
Spooky.
Scary.
Now entering the facility.
A lower estimate on the number of stars in this galaxy is 100 billion. A
Damn.
lower estimate on the number of galaxies in this universe is another sweet hundy billy. A lower estimate for the number of planets around each star in the universe is at least 1. This gives us an enormous figure.
Yes.
So that even if the chance of life arising in the universe is like winning a megabucks jackpot Powerball lottery thing, it still means that there are 100 million planets out there with alien life on it. So I ask you again, where's everyone? This discrepancy that we are highlighting is known as the Fermi paradox, named after
it's very likely just that they're kind of like us. You know, for like thousands of years, they probably just can't live, right? Or they can't go explore, like, you know, outside of their system. That's probably what it is. That's what I assume.
Estimator and famous Italian physicist Enrico Fermi. Now, there are many potential solutions to this paradox, from the fact that we may indeed be alone in the universe, or that
no way.
civilizations just tend to wipe themselves out before they can reach out to other civilizations. Today, we're going to focus on a different solution, one offered by one of my favorite video games ever, Dead Space. Its solution is that
the solution is the Mass Effect solution is the Reapers. Basically, like, you know, anytime like any race becomes too advanced, they get wiped out and sent back to like the Stone Age, only to repeat the cycle.
Dead out there because it literally is dead. Ooh, isn't that spooky, Arya? Arya, isn't that spooky?
Spooky.
Oh, to the moon.
All right.
What we don't find out until Dead Space 3 is that the so-called necromorphs aren't the end of that ghoulish life cycle. No, these eldritch horrors are brethren or brother moons.
Brother
Literally
moons.
giant tentacle monsters that float through space and they're the size of a moon. Their life cycle goes something like this. First, they start sending out electromagnetic waves that make any intelligent life in the area go totally cray-cray and build so-called markers. Now, these markers also send out electromagnetic radiation to animate any dead flesh in the area somehow. Then that dead flesh goes on to kill other stuff to make enough dead flesh. Once there's enough dead flesh, it is all flung up into the upper atmosphere somehow, where it congeals somehow into a giant tentacled moon that then eats the rest of the planet's biomass and continues the cycle anew. This is Dead Space's solution to the Fermi paradox. Space seems dead because these brother moons are floating around everywhere, gobbling up everything. Now, I gotta admit, brother moons are some of my favorite creature creations in sci-fi, but it all got
It's pretty cool design, yeah.
Is there actually enough biomass on Earth to make a moon-sized meat thing? Winston, calm down.
Yeah, or
Clean your
Discord,
tentacles
whatever
last
you
Tuesday.
want.
You know what day it is. It's not Tuesday. That's why I named it that. It's not Tentacle Tuesday. You know what it is. In the vacuum of space, outside of any other large, dominating gravitational influence like your mama, anything with mass will pull on anything else with mass and eventually come together. So if you had enough dead flesh in space after a convergence event from the necromorphs, it would start to accumulate in a sort of gross meat moon kind of thing. And if you had enough of this dead flesh, you could even have it differentiate like a planet with a molten, bubbly, gross flesh core. Thanks for that, Randall Monroe of XKCD. So, to evaluate today's proposed solution to the Fermi paradox, what we're going to do is see how big a meat moon would be if it consumed all biomass on Earth, and then compare that to other known moons and the game. And thankfully, the calculations are actually super simple for this.
Easy for you.
No, Aria, anyone can
27
do it. With the power
March.
of mathematics, you can go, hey, Winston, grab a calculator. I'll lead you through it. Dang. So how do we go about estimating the mass and size of a brother moon? First, we need to know how much biomass is on Earth. Scientists have been estimating these values for a long time.
People are fat. Fermi paradox is basically there's a great filter where before civilization advanced to the next stage to look for alien, they go extinct by multitude of ways, yeah. Fair enough, I mean, I get the point. I mean, fair enough.
Vary across studies, but generally, in terms of the distribution of carbon in everything from viruses to your butt, all the animals on Earth represent actually a tiny, tiny fraction of the total biomass. There is more weight in all the other kingdoms, like protists and archaea and fungi. Bacteria outweigh every animal on Earth 50 times over. And the vast majority of carbon on Earth is in plants. The latest studies calculate that all of this living stuff weighs around 1.2 teratons. Now, we're going to do this back of the envelope and assume that all Earth goop has roughly the same density. How about water? We can then divide Earth's total biomass by this density to get the potential total volume of a dead meat marble with tentacles. Doing so, the maximum volume that a brother moon from dead space could get from Earth is over 1,000 cubic kilometers.
That's pretty good.
That sounds like a lot, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you have enough mass in space, it will act to spherify itself via gravity. Therefore, a meat moon with sufficient mass would have a volume equal to the volume of a sphere, 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, as the
I don't get that part, but
notice, that
I get the
means
logic.
that if we plug in our volume value and solve
She
for
gave me
r
maths, I'm
cubed,
lost, but
we will get the radius of this eldritch monstrosity, and then we can compare that radius to other known moons and to the game. So, do that. Go ahead. Feel free to pause the video now. I'll wait here. Or
I have no idea what I'm looking at, so.
Seconds. Winston, just smack a tentacle onto a calculator and it'll stick there and
was to solve. Well, any of you can solve it.
Is a moon with a radius over 6 kilometers long. Now that sounds huge. Anything overhead in a sphere like that would be really, really disturbing. But is it like moon-sized disturbing?
Not quite.
Well, comparing it to the radius of Earth's moon has a radius 260 times larger, meaning that if all life on Earth was spherified into a civilization extinguishing meat orb of doom, and gross meat, remember, it wouldn't be any larger or any more imposing than any other moon in the solar system that you could probably name.
Yeah.
Winston, I know what you're thinking.
But again, it's like a tentacle monster thing, so it would still be scary, even if it's not as big as the others.
Tactical envy, my man. There are dozens of really tiny moons in our solar system around our gas giants. So some of those are only like a kilometer across, meaning that a meat moon made out of all life on Earth would still be a moon. You're welcome. Given that dead space's proposed solution to the Fermi paradox actually does result in a mini moon's worth of mass, the next question is, how realistic is a brother moon as a creature? Well, interestingly enough, one proposed solution to the Fermi paradox is kind of similar to dead space in this regard. It says that we're not finding any aliens because we're not looking at where they actually lived or died. For decades, scientists and sci-fi authors alike have imagined what life unlike anything we know might look like. One popular conception is life among the atmospheres of gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn. Imagine an entire ecosystem with aerial plankton grazed on by sky whales who are preyed upon in turn by flying sharks. Now, it sounds like a fanciful thing that some scientist on the ganja would think of, but none other than Carl Sagan was writing scientific papers on this in the 1970s, calculating the lives of what he called sinkers and floaters in the high atmospheres of Jupiter. Now, I don't think the jump from an organism like this to a brother moon in dead space, in the vacuum of space, is all that crazy. Imagine
it's so very
in the high
hypothetical,
atmosphere
though.
of some gas giant, evolving to resist low pressures and high radiation environments for millions or perhaps billions of years.
Billions.
Eventually, like the transition that happened from water to land on Earth, these creatures cast off into the void, using internally generated gases to propel them and sensory organs to hone in on other worlds' magnetospheres for air, food, and water.
It sounds pretty awesome.
These beings could exist in a state of suspended animation, like we know tardigrades on Earth can achieve, perhaps conserving metabolism and resisting cosmic radiation for tens of thousands of years while they move through the void looking for a new planet to feed on. It's certainly not the craziest idea I've ever heard in sci-fi. Think about it. If beings like this exist, then it seems like there's no one out there because we're only looking for signals from planets and stars. We wouldn't hear a thing. And we'd never get to hear from the dead planets that they fed on either. It's kind of a scary, fun idea, huh? Kind of like the game that came up with it. Until next time, Winston,
it's a good idea, but at the time, I feel like right now it's probably the more rational answer, though.
Now exiting the facility.
Of why we haven't like found any life yet is because we haven't really like gone into any kind of like space exploration yet, right? I mean, I know there's like space probe and stuff like that, but you know, like we haven't really done much exploration yet. We're still like baby mode in that way. We haven't gotten out of our own solar system or anything, so I guess that makes sense. But at the same time, you could argue that if there was like other alien, you know, like they would have come to us at this point or something. It's one of those interesting things. I mean, I always like think, yeah, it'd be nice if like during my lifetime we reach a point where like, yeah, we can genuinely like go explore like you know, like space exploration gets, well, it seems like we're getting there already, but yes, space exploration seems like it's gonna get far enough during my lifetime or lifetime that we might get something like some, you know, some stuff to indicate that there might be, yeah, proper life in other galaxies and systems or ocean that much too. Yeah, I think I remember like there was a statistic we haven't even explored like 5% or something of like the ocean floor. So fair enough. Huh? I mean, it's something to look forward to. It's something to look forward to. Floppy disk, worth of data, image, and music to space. Yeah, but even then, like, you know, it's like assuming anything will even get that, right? So, pretty interesting. MP5 device.
Thank you so much to the nerdy staff at the facility for their direct and substantial support in the creation of this here video.
The creeper
if you
belt.
want to join the facility, if you want to drape on a silky white lab coat, if you want to get members-only access to our Discord, you want private live streams each month, if you want videos early, behind the scenes, photos and videos, everything.
Obviously, support the man. Support the man. Really good video. Really good video. No, I don't know. Like, I wonder if it's more like, you know, again, like, we're just a very advanced civilization in a sense. In the sense of like, yeah, like we're starting to already think about conquering space and the stars and all that. Well, you know, maybe like, you know, like other type of alien and other type of civilization and all that, they don't even care about that. They're just living on the planet, or maybe they're more like animal-like and all that kind of stuff. So maybe, you know, at least around here, we're going to be the only one trying to like go into space and go check out if there's anyone else out there. I don't know. Like it could be a lot of things, right? That's what's interesting. Like it could be endless possibilities. We have no idea what it is. Kind of like our idea of what an alien can be literally like anything. Like it's very likely not going to be anything humanoid like we think, but yeah, it could be so many things. Again, it's pretty exciting. I do think it's pretty exciting because yeah, like seems like things are picking up right now. You know, moon base, Mars base, SpaceX, China space program, you know, there's a lot going on. So during our lifetime, there might be some pretty awesome discovery. That would be nice. That would be nice. I'm looking forward to it personally. This is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. Alright. So, interesting video. I know I've watched a video from this dude before.